Hey guys, welcome to another beautiful episode of Leadership Podcast. And today I have someone you can call a veteran. She's been there, done that, and been there for years. Ladies and gentlemen, we have LOLO, one of Africa. What's your real name?
My name is Omotunde Adebowale David. That's my name.
So, a Yoruba lady bearing LOLO, literally having an Igbo persona. How did that happen?
For me, a lot of things changed when growing up. When I was growing up, I didn't even know there was a difference between people. Because in my father's household, we had Igbo neighbors. And we had Mama Ejima. It was like our house was one. We're the landlords, but Mama Ejima would cook. Her own children would come and eat my mother's food. We would eat theirs. And, from then, I just had an affinity for the Igbo culture. I just used to think that, Igbo people are so nice, maybe because of how I grew up. My father's best friend is a Muslim.
Wow.
And we lived side by side. And their houses are almost identical. So we would go with them to the mosque on Friday. They would go with us to church on Sunday. So that unity thing has always been a part of me, that I just don't think that we're so divided, that we're one people, even though we're different, but our differences should not be something that disturbs or tears us apart. And when I would start to do radio, I said, okay, I wanted to have my own pseudonym where everybody would call me. And I had 3,000 entries.
Wow.
It was amazing. And I chose LOLO because I knew what it meant. It was synonymous to what Yorubas would call Olori.
Olori, yeah.
It's like a prominent woman,
king.
a wife of a king, just a woman of worth and value. And it just resonated with me, and I just stuck with it.
But was it also because you felt you could give that Igbo vibe as well?
I don't know about Igbo vibes though, because I schooled in the Jabo day, and I can but for me, I just think that if you love something enough, you can actually assimilate culture. I think I tell people that I'm an Igbo woman by choice, but I'm a Yoruba woman by birth, because the Igbo culture, it appeals to me a lot.
Do you speak Igbo?
I do not speak Igbo, unfortunately, but I can nuance it. I can inflect it. I understand bits and pieces.
Yeah.
If I have to play a character, I can conveniently now be able to speak lines in Igbo.
Yeah.
When it's told to me, I would definitely memorize it, and I know one or two easy things to communicate in the language. And because people just assume I speak Igbo, so I've learned to listen and pick things that, sometimes I'm responding, but I do not understand the whole context, but I could just pick something and I would respond. I do not speak Igbo though, but it's something I wish I could really speak. But maybe time, age, disposition, placements, all those things have just mixed itself up that it's very hard to just learn how to speak Igbo fully.
Your love for radio, when did it begin?
Love for radio. I would think that communication has always been my thing.
Okay.
When I was in secondary school, I was one of the medalists in my school, Anglican Girls Grammar School, for impromptu speeches.
Okay.
I love the art of speaking, of communicating. Debate was my thing.
Wow.
And my own was even a genre. I do impromptu speeches. Impromptu speeches means instead of a debate, they would give you what you're going to talk about. But me, I just pick from a box. And I speak about it. I think that's where my love for communication started. So that means it is imperative for me to read wide and wild.
Wow.
Because you never know where you're just going to be from. So from when I was very little, my parents would tell me that the television was my thing. I learned to speak better English from watching Sesame Street. Because I didn't travel abroad until I was completely a grown adult. So it wasn't like I had any foreign influence. So that was where my love for communication started. I would go into university to study law.
Yeah.
And of course, what would I write my my final year stuff on? I did write on the rights of a performer. because, I love copyright law. And then beside copyright law is the law they call the performing rights law. It's side by side, but it's like a baby twin to copyright law. So that's what I based my project on, the right of a performer. And, it has always been that entertainment side of me calls to me. So I wanted to satisfy myself that I did try everything. So I did practice law. In fact, the current...
How long?
I practiced for about 3 years, like 2 different chambers. In fact, the current, I think SSG of Lagos, Madam Abimbola Hundeyi, she was my principal.
Wow.
In fact, she trained me. I worked in her law chambers for about almost 2 years.
Wow.
And I did that. And I knew that, okay, I wasn't finding my feet here. Even though I could be a lawyer, but I don't like to not be excellent at something. So I don't want to just be a lawyer. I wanted to be an excellent person. So I knew that I had to, start to find myself. And that was what led me to radio. And I would tell you categorically that radio found me. I wasn't looking for radio. I thought television was going to be it because the likes of Ruth Benemezia Opia, Auntie Sienna Orwell Brown, the likes of Auntie Bimbo Iloyede, they were the people I grew up watching. So I thought news was going to be it. So when I started to look for, work in radio was what led me to Channels Television, I would never forget. And Arthur Chukuma at that time sent me to Federal Radio Corporation School. That it would be a good place for me to go and get trained because I had basic knowledge, but it would be nice to learn it a little more. And that is how radio found me.
Wow.
I didn't even know Federal Radio Corporation Training School existed until then.
Yeah.
So I would go there and do a course on basic presentation. And out of all the whole... our own set at that time, I was one of the top people in the set, and Radio Nigeria just absorbed me immediately. So I was their contract staff for about almost 2 years. I was with Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. There I honed my teeth. Every veteran started from there. In fact, it was like, I didn't even know this existed. But I fit in like glove.
Wow.
And I would go on to stay there for about 2 years. Then I took a break. Everybody was making more money. I was like, civil service wasn't my thing. I'm a very restless person. I don't like anything that makes you comfortable. And I saw civil service like too much comfort. If you don't push yourself, there's not much to, ginger you. You have to keep thinking of growing from level to level. The years will keep rolling by. There's no push. And I like push. And I didn't see that happening for me there. So I took a little break. I did a bit of A&R too with the company at that time. Then Wazobia came. And Wazobia was like...
Oh, yeah.
I think Wazobia, I was there for about 13 years.
Yeah, so but what year did you join?
Did I join Wazobia? I'm not good on years and numbers, but I would definitely find the year in my head before we're done. I want to believe my daughter is 20 now. So that means that's 2014. I think maybe it started for me about maybe 2009.
Okay.
Yes.
2009.
2009. About that time, yes. 2008, 2009, yes. Because I finished from law school 2001. I did NYSC. That's 2002. So I think radio started for me about 2006, 2007. Yes. Now that I think of it clearly, because she was born right on radio.
Wow.
So I do know. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, that's why I said
a veteran.
You qualify to be called a veteran, actually.
Honestly,
I mean, if you've done something for 20 years and you then transition to management.
Yes.
Heading a radio station.
In fact, I did 13 years with Wazobia, and it was a beautiful... When I started with Wazobia, it wasn't even my niche, because Pidgin wasn't what I would think of as a language of communication for someone like me.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I love about being LOLO is the fact that I like hard things. I don't like easy things. If it doesn't give me headache, make me work at it, I would not feel I like to merit things.
Yeah.
And so I like to work things.
Yeah.
And I seem to have a great beginner's anointing over my life. So anything I start afresh grows. I like the work you take to build something and watch it grow. Because when we came into Wazobia, we're like, I was just the next pioneer set.
Really?
And
who were the pioneers?
the pioneers were your Mashe at that time when they started Wazobia. I joined them like months after they started.
Who were your own set?
I was with your Mashe was there, OPJ. We had a crop of Ehidiana.
Nedu.
Nedu came much later. Them Nedu came much later. Nedu, Ogbolo, Nigeria, Wazobia have raised a lot of great presenters that have gone ahead to do greater things in their life, in their spaces.
Yeah.
And Wazobia was so different because Pidgin was not a language that people would expect radio to be done.
Yeah.
People would see it as just an aside, but it was an experiment they took and it worked 100%.
Really worked.
It worked. And everybody there were just good. And when we did radio, unlike now, the dynamics of radio have changed completely. Because then the entertainment of the world was either radio or television or print media.
Yeah, the market was huge. The radio market was huge.
It was huge at that time.
Yeah, it was huge.
Unlike now, that we now have social media.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, social media has all the dynamics of all the three, basic communication outlets.
Visual,
He had it.
Audio.
Visual, audio, print, writing, everything. Twitter, you write. Visual, Instagram, TikTok is like acting full time. So it has every of those things. And, a lot of people have become social media stars, like how we were radio, television, print media stars at that time. So now it's broken.
But which is your love? Being on radio, presenting, or being behind the scene, managing? Because you've been an MD of a station.
Yes, I've been. In fact, I've done 3 right now.
Really?
Yes.
Don't tell me you're currently an MD of another radio station.
Well, I did. After I left Wazobia, I was the pioneer general manager of Lasgidi FM.
Okay.
And I did it for like almost 2 years.
Yes.
It was very interesting.
Yes.
I like to create, and I can't be somewhere and just sit for a long time when the place is not. I need to move. I need dynamism. Once I have done something, birthed it, I want to move on to the next hard thing to chew. So I did that for them when I pioneered. I did all the brand imaging, everything they were, because they've departed from the initial, templates that we worked with, because it was basically Pidgin at that time.
Okay.
But I think now they've pivoted into Yoruba, Igbo, and all sorts. I did that. Then I left. I did a stint with Law FM.
Okay.
I was like a consultant for them for like 5 months.
Okay.
Yes.
Law FM.
Because Law FM, everybody said,
That's true. And you're a lawyer.
Yes, I'm a lawyer. This is so niche. I'm like, okay, this is not my thing, but let me see. Let me consult for a little while. So I stayed with them just for a little while to see where their brand can be positioned. I tried to help them, create a unique brand and all that. Then I would move off them to now focus more on films. I really wanted to have time to be able to make films. And radio 9 to 5 can't work because the film industry needs time. And I need to be able to give time to anything I'm doing. I want to give it 100%. So, and I can't just be breaking from radio, taking permission to go and do this. And sometimes shoots take a while, from the planning, from the pre-planning to the planning, to the event, to the shoot itself, to the post-pro. It takes a lot of work. So I needed to take a little time off, and I went. And I did recently in February, I joined Cool Wazobia again to help them pioneer their Kids FM radio. Yes, I was their pioneer brand manager. Though I didn't stay for long because it's just because of film. There's a level I have gotten to in my career.
So
now,
wait, which one is your favorite? Anchoring radio, managing radio itself or acting?
It's, everyone has his lure. No matter
Which
what
is your
you
favorite?
do.
You have to pick one. Managing the business has good salary, so I know why you like that one.
Managing the business has good salary, but the monotony of it didn't work for me.
Yeah, so you want the creative space.
The monotony.
Being a presenter, the love is there.
Yeah.
The money is small.
You have really dissected the industry. Yes, the money is small. But yes, I think for me, where I am now presently, I doubt if I would do any radio, I would manage any startup. Okay. Because managing a startup right now is very hard. Especially in the terrain of Nigeria, as we speak now, where you have to grapple for everything. And now you can't just stay on creative side. They want you to market. They want you to bring money. They want you to do this and that.
And you don't like market.
It's not like I do not like marketing. For me, I think it's two different genres. Because creativity, creating programs, making sure it works, it's a lot to do. And to be on the field, still selling your own product.
But you don't like marketing.
It's not my forte, but I will do it. There's nobody that will do radio that you will not have to do that.
But don't you think it's part of the challenge of most artists in the sense that I will argue that it's not really talent, it's not really creativity, it's marketing. If you look at the movie industry, since that has become your best love.
I've moved it forward. It makes more money.
Let's not call it your first love, but it's your best love.
At the moment,
when you look at that industry, you see that some of the most talented artists or actors and actresses are not necessarily the one making the most selling movies.
Yeah.
Right? They're not.
Yeah.
Not the most creative are not the ones selling the most movies.
No.
Exactly. I mean, when you look at from Funke Akindele, Ayo Makun, and so on and so forth. In fact, some of the people with the best movies are not even actors, like you, Mo, for example. They don't even act, as it were. So, don't you think that part of the weakness of artists globally, not just Nigeria, is their inability to also master marketing, and that those who then master marketing take over the market?
For me, creativity and marketing, sometimes it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
What we lack in Nigeria is the fact that we just think everybody should do everything. Even abroad, everywhere I look at leadership, people that teach marketing, it's a genre on its own. It's just like creativity. But what you can do for yourself is to find a balance. And I keep saying that it's not a diminish if you can do both. You just have to be able to have a team that can do everything. Like, let me take a pivot. Let me look at Funke Akindele.
Yeah.
She's just a creative.
Yeah.
When it comes to script writing, she's part of the thought process.
Yeah.
When it comes to marketing, she's part of the thought process. She's probably not the one that will shoot all the skits.
Of course.
She won't edit it. She can just sit down with the creatives and it's like, okay, what do you guys think we should do? Oh, this is a great marketing strategy. Who is the best person that can help us bring this to life?
But she shifted her mindset from not just the creative aspect, but can we be positioned in such a way that we will sell?
100.
That's my argument, because
I totally agree.
Because you see sometimes a lot of artists who are just positioning just from creativity perspective.
No.
Right? No, it must be creative. It must be creative.
No.
Meanwhile, somebody else is sitting from, I want it creative, but how can I even make the creative
sell
a marketing tool?
Totally.
Right.
That's why I said that for anybody that wants to excel in anything that you do in life, you have to be able to understand how what sells. And that's why I say, even for a creative, marketing is part of creative. Because to be able to create visuals or images or sound bites that can sell, you have to work in sync with marketing. Like for radio, there are some programs that we call good programs, but they're not commercial. But they're great, they're informative, people like it, but it doesn't sell. So no matter how you think that program is good, for me as a manager of a station, it doesn't sell. So it's not about I like it, they like it, does it sell? That is the biggest question anybody has. So even if you're a creative, like now you have to look at the market. What do they want? What kind of films do they want to see, or do people like to see? Nigerian market don't like serious films. The films that I've seen that have done very well in the box office are comedy, action, comedy, action. And that's the genre that Funke Akindele stays in. She does comedy, action. But there's still room for other genres. It's just that some things needs to be taught to people that, oh, you can totally enjoy this. I'm a supernatural drama person. I like drama that has a twist of supernatural stuff in it. And that's what I stay. And so whether you like it or not, everybody have to be able to carve a niche and sell aggressively. And as long as you can put eyes on yourself, sometimes it's not even the bigness of your movie. It's the fact that you are able to put eyes on you. Standing on the road dancing has nothing to do with the film.
True.
But you're telling people that I'm here. Focus on me. I have market. It's just like realtors now. I see a lot of girls in bodycon dresses with very big derriere. All of them are walking in front of their clients, selling real estate.
Demure.
That one passed demure. This one passed demure. It passed mindful. I would say bodyful. But as far as I'm concerned, some people will argue with you that sex sells. And the visual of a beautiful woman, it doesn't have to be vulgar. It should just lovely to look at. It can actually attract a potential client that, oh, I like this well put together lady. I want to see what she's selling. Her dress is not the market, but she's part of what draws the market. Because the 21st century marketing has gone beyond, I have a good product. It has gone to who can sell it.
Absolutely.
So it's not just Funke doesn't even rely on her alone to sell it.
So
you must know which ecosystem can I put this that would sell.
Absolutely.
And as long as you know that, those are the things that make you make decisions. Even to scripting. Even to choosing your cast. So you can't just choose someone, oh, I like the girl, she's pretty. I'm not going to put anybody on any film that don't have numbers. In my own personal film this year that I shot, I have Kule Remi on it. I have Bisola Ayola. I have Chinosu Arubai. So they are my top sellers on it. And I know that, these people are topical. It's not just about I can act alone. It's these people appeal to the cinema audience. Those are the things that you think of.
I always argue that, people don't buy the best products. One of my quotes, they buy the best known product.
In fact,
you're
a master of quotes. You will say it in a long sentence and Ms. Akintayo, Oga will just put it in a beautiful sentence and it's done. Honestly, it's known product. As long as, that's why I love Slot. I use Slot as an example because Slot taught me something when I was on radio. Slot was an unknown brand. Nobody knew it. They went to China and brought a lot of Palasa phones. And they started advertising on radio. And they linked their advertising to winning. So every time you would call on radio for a slot program, you would win. So people associated phones with slots after a while. And this advertising, they ran it for like 5 years.
Can you imagine?
That slots just became synonymous with phones. Slot, phones. And they were able to pivot their business just based on that. And right now, slot is everywhere. And they started with us on Wazobia. Everywhere, sponsoring almost a couple of shows that every day people will be calling to us, is this slot time? Is this slot time? I want something from slot. When we even do program, say, slot means, everybody will just tell you what it means. And I think that's what every business is trying to do. To be able to say, when they say GTEX, everybody should be able to say houses, homes. trainings, all the things that they do, leadership. So that's the struggle for any brand. Right now, why radio is like a quagmire for me is because when we did radio, there were I would say that we did personality radio in my time. People listen to radio because of a person. The late Dan Foster.
That's true.
The late the guy that did Sharing Life Issues.
Yeah.
He
Charles
was
B.
Charles B.
Yeah.
The Yours, the LOLOs.
Yes.
Now, when I listen to radio, I can't lie to you. Even though there are many, I train a lot of them.
The personality.
It's either you are first hit with the cacophony of fake accents, and you are trying very hard to know whether this is Nigerian or American. That one just puts you off. Then the monotony of discourse. There are no 3 radios you tune into. If I'm not mistaken, all of them will probably be saying the same thing.
Wow.
So the originality of research, of looking for difference, is no longer there. Everybody is just taking the easy way out. Like when we were in radio, Mr. Sibi, we used to go and look for vinyl, I mean, what do we call that, turntable plates, to get some old school. So that means before you even did your show, you had to come a day before to go and find all your songs, put it together, so that you would have a great smooth show. Unlike now that the press of a button, you can just play Justin Bieber, you can do anything. So it just makes everybody, just be on a level.
That's all the guy to Baba.
I'm telling Justin Bieber, I know him. But now, everybody just does things, the lazy way routes. The research are not even clearly done. That even when you even ask some people, some of them are not even following the PDD story. They just know bits and pieces. It's only in our own time that they will expect you to give the historical background. Where was he 40 years ago? Who was he? How did he start? Where did they recognize him first? Who are the first artists he worked with? Those are the questions we would ask. Unlike now, they say, PDD, how many wives does he have? How many children? We will look at what was his first business. Oh, where did his life suddenly change?
So are you saying people are no longer deep, generally?
This generation, Gen Zs and the millennials, I always call them microwave generation. They have good and bad. But one of the downsides to it is that they want everything
quick,
on the snap of their finger. And all of us know that something that is not well grown does not have longevity. I love agric. I've been following aeroponic agricultural practices where you grow things that is sandless. As much as they grow big, they grow nice. I'm still, when I travel the next time, I'm going to find my way to one of their farms because I really want to taste it. To be sure that something you grow out of soil. What are the nutritional values? Does it still have it? Is it just the size of it? Is it GMO? What's the difference between this and GMO? Those are the salient questions that will make somebody, if I want to come and tell you, say, come and invest. I would have done a clear research to be able to prove to you that these things are as nutritious as when you grow and stand, you can get more volume, it's less pests attack it. Those are the things. But this generation, they have good and they have bad side. And I think their burnout is too quick.
But how is it being a mother to this generation?
That's another podcast. Oh my God. I have growing adults. My daughter is almost 20. My son is, my first son is almost 18. The one after that just turned 16, and I have a 12-year-old plus. Honestly.
So you have 4 children?
Yes, I do. And
wait, how did you give birth to 4 children with all this that
that I do? I don't know. I funny enough, my kids are special.
Do you find it easy to give birth?
I think pregnancies
go through too much pain.
I am one of those people that
no pain.
I have done. No, of course I do have pain. I've done every family planning, every single one, and none of it has worked for me. In fact, with my last child, when I didn't know what to do, I had to do elective surgery to cut and tie my tubes.
Jesus.
Because if I didn't do that, I've done I've won coil, I've done implants.
Baby will still come.
It will still come.
Hey!
And my 2 sons
I think women who are trusting God for the fruit of the womb.
They need to come. No,
tap your anointing.
I pray for them constantly, and I see a lot of my friends have been having triplets and twins. So for me, that's what happened for me. So that's why I have 4 amazing children.
Wow.
But I cannot imagine my life without any one of them in it.
But how is it managing them? I mean,
it
4
is
a
tough.
lot.
Trust me.
And as a single mother.
Oh yes, it is tough, but I love it. One thing I tell anybody is that challenges in life are supposed to help you see a way to do it. And I keep telling people, do not be afraid to ask for help when you need them. In my growing years, I'm a very hands-on person.
Okay.
And I don't like to do things. None of my children have grown outside everything that I do.
Wow.
I put my baby bag and my nanny in the car and we're going to do work.
Wow.
I'll have a company I emceed their events some years ago, I think Ericsson, they sent me money and a big gift. Why? They could not believe that I was almost popping a baby when I did their Christmas party.
Wow.
They are there to say she danced, she jumped, she did this, she did. Oh my, how did Lolo have a baby? We didn't even think she was that pregnant.
Wow.
But I've always been hands-on. So I like to live. I know how life can be challenging, but you now depend, it's your reaction to that challenge that depends on how far you go. I could sit back and say, oh, I'm tired, and have the same excuses. Or I could pivot and say, how can I do this? Because there's nothing I can do about this. So that's what I tell myself every time. Okay, this is a challenge. What do we do?
But I mean, people have just one
child
baby and they're already running nuts.
Yeah.
You did 4. Now, the 4 are from one marriage or 2?
Of course, one marriage.
And so, how do you keep it together?
I think I have God. I've been a Christian all my life. I don't even think, when I was in university, they used to call me Sister Omotunde of the Lord. And maybe it has formed the woman that I am today. I am not overly materialistic, and the things that people seek in people, I don't seek. It's just like when I look at Dr. Akintayo, I don't look at you like, I can call you every other time and be asking. No, that's not why you're there. You're there because there's a level of wisdom I love around you. And when I need to call into that, I want to be able to have it. So I will keep that distance so that I would always keep you in that elevated position in my mind. So that when I need to call onto your wisdom, it works. But a lot of people misinterpret every relationship in their lives. Be able to know that what is this person for, her time, and use it for your own good. When I was growing up, I've always had great nannies. I see my friends treat their nannies like terrible people. My first adopted daughter came to my house as a nanny. My Moyi now, I sent her to catering school. She's graduated. She has OND. She has HND accounting. She has OND accounting. She has HND accounting. She's working now.
Wow.
Though she's not married yet, but she's my first adopted daughter. I do not leave people. I don't like to leave you the way I saw you. Even though she came to my house to be able to help me cater for the children, I made sure that her life too saw a little bit. It changed. Now she's working. She works in a phone shop in Aja, and she's making her own money, and her life is together. So when I keep telling women that we cannot just sit in our crisis and allow it to define our life.
You cannot sit in your crisis and allow it to define your life.
As long as you become the definition of what people see you going through, then they don't see you as a way out.
Come on.
I keep telling women I've never slept with anybody for money in my life.
Wow.
My life. And I can say that categorically without shame.
Of course, you are gifted. You don't need to.
There's no need for it.
You are gifted.
Everybody is gifted. It's just what you consider your gift. Look at me. Do you know I had become older before I learned business? It was from people like you I used to look at you. Didn't you see how I used to look at you in the early years? Like, are you a creature? Are you human? From then, I'd gone to do...
Go for a retreat.
Oh my God. And I would just sit down and just like... I had never seen it typified to me. Growing up, my family were not business oriented.
Wow.
So and in the early years of my own career, I put too much credence on my passion
Instead
I didn't understand the business. It was when I started meeting people like you that you say, Lolo, no, go back, do this again, give me an angle. Like, hey, so I have to give an angle for this. Okay. I started learning.
Yeah.
In fact, last year I took an entrepreneur course with American Embassy.
Nice.
They have this alumnus for women entrepreneurs.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, there's so much you can learn.
Yes, there's so much.
That's what I keep telling people.
Yeah.
Learning is you are the one that desire it. There are books that are written. You can't force me to come to your library.
Yeah.
I can call you and say, sir, please, can I borrow 2 books from your library to read?
True.
That is because I want to learn.
Yeah.
But a lot of women look at their challenge and they allow it define everything else. Do you know how many times I cry? Do you know how many times I'm lacking? Do you know how many... Last year I went to 3 banks looking for funding for film. The door was shut, bang, 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 on my face. I cried. I felt sad. But I picked up my skirt and I kept moving on. In the midst of that, I shot a 13-episode series that DSTV just finished showing.
Wow.
In the midst of it, I've shot 2 YouTube films. In the midst of it, I finished my... it might not be a lot of money to some people, but I spent like 60 million of my money, my savings, mine, without no investment from anybody to do my next feature film.
Resilience.
Because you have to keep finding a way.
Yeah.
And life has a way of opening up to you if you make demand from
Come on. I like that.
It might be hard. I'm not telling anyone that all these things that Lolo says is easy. Everybody that knows me knows I cry a lot. I am weak sometimes. But that is good.
Let's move on. After the cries and
then you wipe your fears.
We move on.
Then you keep moving. And you will see that things will keep opening up to you. Do not allow hopelessness to get you to a point of dejection that you will now give up and say, no, I'm no longer doing it. Because the next thing can actually break you through. Now, the places I have been, based on the things I have done through so much hardship, you can't get there if you don't have what it is to show.
I mean, after 4 kids, what made your marriage to crash? And why are you not bitter? I've known you for a while. One of the things I admire about you, I've met women who, some didn't even have any child. The bitterness around, my ex, he's the devil.
No.
Oh, she's
No. Daddy Ara is not a devil.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do apologize to him because both of us married each other when we didn't know who we were.
Wow.
I was a Christian girl that was very naive. I didn't know. He was the first man I was ever with. I had never been with anybody beside him. In fact, I came to his birth a virgin.
Wow.
So it wasn't like I had knowledge. But I always beg women now, please do not take marriage where you have not discovered yourself. Because that is what will make an astronaut marry a marine biologist.
Hey! I like that.
And that means you exist in 2 separate habitats. No matter how much you love each other, the skies and the seas are 2 different terrains. It can't work. So I would say that I got married when I didn't have a lot of knowledge about who I was. And I came into myself in the marriage.
Wow.
And it's like an eye-opening experience. The fact my ex-husband didn't do anything wrong. Neither did I. We married based on the knowledge we had at that time. Instead of us to stay in a marriage that would devastate and break both of us, why not go your separate ways and build a life for each other separately of each other?
Wow.
And still be able to co-parent as much as you can.
This sounds like Megan Good.
Yeah.
Did you watch that clip?
No, I didn't. Which of them?
You know Megan Good?
Yes, of course I do.
Yeah, she did. And then she was talking about divorce.
Oh.
And it just sounded like you.
Honestly.
She wasn't bitter.
Bitterness comes from maybe, like, I'm not the one to tell him his own failures.
Yeah.
I can only address mine.
I give it to you. That's maturity right there.
Exactly. So when marriages crash, I do not consider it only on the feet of one.
Yeah.
it is both of us that did something wrong. And if it doesn't work, I am an advocate for please let it go. For the sake of the children in between us.
Particularly you celebrities. I mean, it's create a mess.
No, sometimes.
Drag
you know, when people look at celebs, doctor, many of these people you see, they do not even have as much knowledge as you think they have. Most of their lives are lived before people. And if you don't surround yourself with good counsel, you would err. Dragging my ex all over the internet, do you know what that does for my children?
Exactly.
It makes them resent even me, that is their primary caregiver.
Yeah.
No, I cannot do that. Even he as a person, he has clients, he has people he relates with. Except I am telling the truth. Like, oh, he beats me.
Yeah.
He abused me.
Yeah.
He did this. If that is the truth, then speak the truth.
Yeah.
But don't speak what is untrue. I would never say what is untrue. My ex-husband never beat me. He had his own limitations, but they were personal to him that I couldn't help. It's just like every time you call me, you'd expect me to stand up for myself and speak my own part of the truth of this. And what I always think about when marriages crash, I think about the children.
Yeah.
Some of it is they can't help it. When I look at a colleague of mine that is fighting blatantly for his children to be seen, I think the woman is in error.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, you see those children that you have given your life to, they will still find that parent, whether you like it or not.
Blame you
and
for
you would feel bad
yeah.
because they will still, so all your labor, I can't let it be lost. So I have to do right by me. And at the end of the day, I'm a Christian. There are some standards that the Bible will put me to that I have to hold myself accountable for. So I cannot just behave anyhow. I have mentors. I have people I respect. I'm sure somebody like you can pick a phone and call me.
Yeah.
Imagine you see me at an event and I'm wearing pants and bra. You would have to call somebody somebody that, is Lola okay?
Yeah.
Can we get help?
Yeah.
Is she on drugs? Is something happening?
Yeah.
This is out of character.
Yeah.
But many people do not have such people that they respect, that guides their life. If I go and start doing some petty fight or some funny skits, there are some people that will be like, no, this cannot be what you can be preaching.
True.
And that is what is lost in this generation. They are a boundaryless generation.
Hey.
And it's people that have, why do you think earth and the sky were separated? God cannot be stupid. Why did he create male and female? Why are there sea creatures and land creatures? And both of them cannot just oppose. Because life must be lived with boundaries. Even though you say, is my happy self, as long as it makes you happy, there are some things that make you happy that is not right. You might enjoy taking drugs, but that doesn't make it right. So you can't tell me that is my happy. That's not your happy. That kind of happy is detrimental to you and to everyone who loves you. So those are the kinds of things that this generation is living in. That is why every of the boundary lines they want to erase. And as long as we do that, we're changing the topography of the world. So you cannot expect the same everything to run as normal. If a human being wants to merge their DNA with an animal, you will have a hybrid thing. And that means this thing, it has no antecedent. You don't know what it can do because this is not a natural thing.
Yeah.
And that is where we're going. That is why the craze of all these things I see all around me, every woman wants to look the same way. Why do you think God created us differently? If you wanted everybody chiseled with hourglass figures, we would all be born that way. But now, it's true because it's like chiseling.
I don't know what you guys because you say it in a very subtle way.
Exactly. It's like chiseling. It's like sculpture. You are hewing at it. And all these things create unnatural things. Look at all the girls you see around. Honestly, I'll look at some of my colleagues. I'm like, how can you say this is attractive to men when this is not even attractive to yourself? How can you do your body this way and you think that, am I a sex object? I cannot be commodified because my worth is more than silver and gold. So if I do my body in a way because I want to sell it, then I'm a commodity. Then I can be priced. I can be auctioned. So don't come back and be shouting. No, the way the men treat me. You have presented yourself as a commodity. So that can be priced.
True.
Those are some of my truths. And when you ask me a question, I don't think I've answered about what it is to raise children in the millennials. Yes. Trust me, any parent now that is not intentional and mindful, you are doing your children a disservice. My daughter, when she was about to enter university, I wanted her to go to America at all costs. Do you know, I was trying very hard to get school fees. I've even started paying. Do you know, she called me aside and said, Mommy, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm ready to be away from you. She said, I don't think I've learned enough to be on my own. Mommy, please don't let me leave now when I have not finished learning. I cried for days. Femisha had touched my soul. And she knew that I was pulling everything I had to make that happen. She's in year 3 now in a private university in Lagos. And in Nigeria, and she's doing well. She's a straight A student. She's in first class. I'm believing God she would even come out like a valedictorian.
Proud mommy.
Yes, totally proud mommy. But why do I say that? If I did not intentionally bring them up, they would not know the difference of what they need or what they want. When I hear her talk these days, I'm like, Lolo, God has helped you.
Yes, he has.
They are trickies because I said that about my daughter, but now for the boys is a bit different. There I need help. Now I try to expose my boys to male mentors.
True.
People that they can, because I can't give them what you don't have. A man can give them. So I try to surround them with people that they can call when they have challenges that I might not be able to solve. Because no matter how you train boys, they still need a male figure.
They do.
That's why I believe in marriage sometimes. Not all the time though, but I believe that there's a reason why God wanted 2 people to raise children. Because where I'm though they have access to their dad as much as he can. So where they cannot even the things they can't see in him, I make sure they see it in other people. I make them go for seminars. I make them listen to people. I ask them after, what do you think about that man? Oh, Mommy, he's so smart. I never knew that you could do this. You could do. I say, so please, for this next mentorship class, join. Make sure he knows you. Those are the kinds of things that we can do. But intentional parenting is hard in this generation.
It is.
And that's why I look at people that can just send their children abroad. I've gone abroad many times and I've seen people's children, and I can categorically tell you that I do not want my children to be like that.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing to feel ashamed about. Our children, the accent they carry is not what makes them successful.
Come on.
They can be raised in America and they will be non-entities.
Absolutely.
And they can have Nigerian accents and be a top dog in Microsoft. In Apple.
The world has changed. The world has changed.
But now people are going abroad just because of accent. You just want your children to be accented and they are drug addicts on the streets. That's not parenting. So for a woman like me, that's
I wish we can continue. We definitely have to have part two with you. But my final question, I've seen different versions of you because our relationship has been for a while now, and we've done a lot of stuff together, company retreats, and even outside the country. But there is this glow I saw in you this morning. It was different.
Always glowing.
No. This is different.
No.
Trust me, this is different.
Ask your question pointedly.
What's going on? You glowing exceptional. I'm being honest.
I'm not even wearing a lot of makeup.
I've never said this to you before. So you know that it's not
You're always teaching me business.
But I've never said this to you before.
I just think
there is this glow. What's going on?
I just think that I've come to a settled place in my life that I know exactly what I want.
Interesting.
And it took me a while to get there. And growing up, I had a lot of self-esteem issues. Though people will tell me they can't see it, but I know what it took me to be able to sit comfortably in the spaces that God has given me grace to sit on. I've come to myself. I'm on my way to 50 now, and I cannot tell you that I don't love my life.
Wow.
I do love my life. I like the fact that I still...
I'm happy to hear this.
I still have things that I wish I had, but I love what I have too. Because every time you look at yourself, I always tell myself it can be worse than this. Of course, it can be. So you must learn to be grateful. My gratitude level is more than anything in this world.
Lolo the therapist. I'm liking this.
I'm good with people. I'm very good with people. I've come to a place of, gratitude.
Yes.
I'm very grateful on a daily basis. This year particularly has taught me that anything can change for anybody in any minute. You can be alive today, dead the next. So please don't wait on what you can do now. All my life, I'm always worried about what would people say, what would they think. Now, I do not owe you an explanation.
Come on.
Except you are somebody that I defer to based on maybe whatever spiritual covering that you are for me, or I respect you. So I give you the right to speak over me. Aside that, I just look at you and I'll say, okay, does it offend God? Is it against public morality? If it's not, then I'm good. Then I just keep moving forward and doing my thing.
I like this version. I'm so loving this version of Lolo.
No, we're totally...
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're good.
Right.
We're good.
We're good.
We're good.
Guys, I wish we can continue, but this is the end of this episode of Leadership Podcast with me, and my guest has been Lolo, one of Africa. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.